Question of the day, could Chinese investors be coming in to buy up large portions of Las Vegas? That's the question of this video. We're going to explain how that actually could possibly work. Probably won't happen. Why it's different than what happened back in the day, and how a Chinese foreign nationally owned casino operator could probably and potentially be a problem for you. And before we start, I have to say, this is not a racist video. In working on the Strip, I had the pleasure of meeting all sorts of people from all over the world. Chinese people are super nice people. You don't blame people for their government's decisions. If you don't like the president right now, would you like to take a trip somewhere and have people vilify you for the guy that's in office if you're not a fan of him? Probably not. So we're not vilifying any Chinese folks. My wife is from a foreign country. I try my best to be balanced and not be racist and not say the wrong things. So don't attack me too hard. But that's the question of the video. Should we allow foreign investors to come in, swoop in, and buy large portions of Las Vegas? Will it happen, and what will be the consequences? Possibly. Hypothetically, if that stuff did happen. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. I'm down here by the Mandalay Bay. We have the Luxor behind me. We have the executive airport behind me right there with all sorts of things like helicopter companies and private jets. I was happy when I drove into this area today to see several private jets parked across from the Vegas sign. That is a good sign. Vegas needs its high rollers back. Without them, we're in big trouble, mister. But if you guys like the video, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for the future notifications. Drop me a comment below. Are you comfortable with everything I'm saying? If it did come to pass, would it change your mind of coming to Las Vegas if you knew that there was a giant company from somewhere else? It doesn't have to be China, but anywhere else that owned these casino properties. Are you going to look for the union label and buy American made? That's on you. You give us your opinion below. And if you guys want to support the channel, reach out on Patreon. You guys can see early access to videos, get your name in the credits of the videos. It's amazing that you guys have been so nice to me on there. I'm incredibly grateful for all of you. Thank you so much. If you guys also want to support the channel, my wife is incredibly grateful for all of you for visiting VegasFacemasks.com. No S at the end. These are the only 2 face masks that you will ever need. Made in the USA. Look at that, very Americana, right? And shipped to you 2 for $25, no S on the end. If you've already purchased, you don't need face masks anymore because these are the only 2 you ever need. Please do share us somewhere on social media. Share that link, VegasFacemasks.com, no S on the end. Also, there's an Amazon link in the description. You can click on notleavinglasvegas.com/Amazon, buy something, they credit back the channel. Okay, commercials aside, let's talk about what happened. Now, in 1990, an immigration reform bill was signed. It was called the EB-5 bill. It wasn't the bill, but that was in it. The EB-5 visa was created in 1990. 1990, we would have had George H.W. Bush as president. That was, I think that was that H.W. Bush, Joe, whichever. The older Bush was president. That's my Bushes up. And he signed a bill to help the bad economy. Yeah, in 1990, the economy wasn't too great in America. But what this bill did was simple. It allowed people to come in as a foreign investor and spend $500,000 to $1 million on an investment in the United States. And if they did that, they would basically, as the investor, be pretty much guaranteed some sort of permanent residency, a green card, possibly a path to citizenship. But hey, look, as long as that job created American jobs, that's what they were looking for. So your investment had to go towards a building project, a job, something that put Americans to work. And that's a good bill, I guess. But flash forward way until after the Great Recession in 2008. Oh my gosh, it was leveraged like crazy in Las Vegas to the tune of $400 million plus by the SLS, which was formerly the Sahara, which is currently Sahara. Funny how things have a circular way of working. And I'm actually in front of the Laughing Jackalope. Speaking of stuff that actually doesn't come full circle and recover, this place has been closed forever. Let's get out from this back alley because there's some rough personalities back here who are yelling at me to get out of their territory, if you know what I mean. So the EB-5 bill was leveraged for $400 million by the SLS people. And why? Because they wanted to redevelop the Sahara. They had started doing it a couple of years, I believe, prior, right before the stock market took a tank and never really recovered. And they needed that money really, really bad, or else they would have defaulted on loan payments that they had already taken out. And if you default on a loan payment, that's when properties like the Fontainebleau, now the Drew, go bankrupt and have to be sold. You don't want your big hopes and dreams to lay in tatters in Las Vegas and be sold. So they took advantage of the program. A little bit of drama to end this, and I'll talk about it more in a future video, I'm sure. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Those investors sued because they never got their paperwork and they never got their permanent resident status, but they were all Chinese. And now, why were they all Chinese? Well, when they made this bill in 1990, there was a couple of foreign nations that were really just kind of taking off. You know, you had Russia, for example, you know, they had their oil barons and things like that. But you also didn't have China like it is today. China like it is today is a massive, huge power. But in 30 years ago, it was still a developing nation. So what if what if China came in right now and decided that they were going to start buying up large swatches of Las Vegas casinos? What if they started investing heavily in the casino companies? What if they got close to a controlling share? Well, that's the consideration that we have to think of. And I paint two scenarios. The first scenario is, who cares? Nothing happens. They just want to make money off of the investment, and you just go about your regular business. The second scenario is the TikTok scenario. If you guys aren't familiar, TikTok is an app. It's owned by a Chinese company. Lots of nations, not just ours, have actually banned the app. India banned a bunch of Chinese apps, but they're having a military conflict with China right now. That might be why. But other countries around the world have also looked into banning it because they've been collecting user data and information for a really long time. And things they shouldn't even be looking at. Like, give me a reason why the TikTok phone, I believe, monitors all of your keystrokes, for example, or looks for your location when you're not even using the app, or has a phone home option, or has the ability in TikTok to be able to download and unpack different apps on your phone in the background without you knowing they're doing it. So the worst case scenario I could see about something like this would be a situation where a Chinese company comes in and has access to the data that you give into these casinos. And I don't think that's gonna happen, and we'll talk about that in half a second. But in that scenario, they have access to your information and data. Now, with the exception of a data breach that MGM Resorts had from outside hackers coming in, these casinos have usually been pretty good with how they actually use your data and information. They've kept it very close to the vest. You've never heard of them misusing your data or anything like that. Would a Chinese company, if they had a controlling stake, be able to have access to that data? I don't know. You would hope that it would be actually part of the deal that they wouldn't. But sometimes part of the deal is something that you don't see, like the Caesars people getting a massive raise after the Eldorado Caesars deal goes through. Technically, it was the Eldorado people, but I've recorded this video twice now, and I'm not going to do it a third time just to correct that. I'll do it on the fly. So if that was the case, your data might not be safe, and that would be the biggest concern that I would have. I want to see Vegas keep going, but not to that extent. And sure, some of these properties aren't open right now. Some of them are actually cash flow positive. Doesn't mean they're turning a profit, it just means that they have more money coming in on a daily basis than going out. Can't see the profits until the end of the year versus the losses. But at the same time, I really don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen, and here's why. Back in 2008, we had a much different scenario. We had a stock market that just crashed and never really recovered. Right now, we have a crash that happened in February, March, but we have a massive recovery that's happened in a short amount of time. I don't know why that is. You guys can hypothesize and tell me in the comments below why you think that is. But we have had a pretty slick recovery so far. For whatever reason, the stock market is still in a bull market type status. You know, a bull just runs through a china shop and tramples all over everything, as they say. And that's kind of how the economy has been going right now. If the economy continues to go this way, they will still have liquid capital to pump into the markets. And I know some of you guys are going to tell me that it's all fake money being printed by the government. Fair enough. But we still don't have the doomsday scenario that forced the SLS, which is now the Sahara, to go and get this extra foreign money in the past. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I am concerned about your data and your privacy and you being able to have a good time in Vegas without having to worry about what happened in the past. Look, these kinds of hacks and these kinds of intrusions happen all the time from the outside looking in. I had a friend who is a Marine. He said that his identity was stolen, but he knew thousands of other people personally, not personally, but he knew other people based on information that he had that also had the same happen that were in the Marines. They said it was either Russia or China. Foreign companies and foreign nationals and foreign countries will try to attack us on a daily basis. Is it a good idea to invite them in and play in our own living rooms? I don't know. I mean, if I know somebody could potentially be a thief, I probably don't invite them over to a house party, and I just hope that the locks on my house work well enough. But who knows, right? Who knows? Maybe everything would just be fine if they did buy into it. But I'm curious about your opinions below. Interestingly enough, this is our Laughing Jackalope behind me right here, the bar and grill. Like I said, it's been closed for a long time. Now, this building must be condemned or something like that, because there's no reason why something at this prime of a spot of real estate would actually remain closed this long. And this was a nightclub and a bar, Laughing Jackalope. If you guys don't know, jackalope is like a fictitious thing. It's like one of those mythical creatures. And yeah, Stuff like this always blows my mind. I would love to know the true history of this place. Maybe if I had more time and I was actually a full-time guy that didn't have 2 jobs, work YouTube and this, I would look into it. But I'm interested in what you think about the whole situation. If you know about this building right here, chime in if you had some kind of fun time here. I'd love to hear what you think. Once again, my name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to videos. Hit the bell for the future notifications. Drop me a line if you guys want to. I got all sorts of ways to contact me below. And join the Facebook group, Not Leaving Las Vegas. Join the Patreon if you guys want to go ahead and support the channel. And check out vegasfacemask.com if you guys need face masks or know somebody who does. They make a great gift, and we have stuff for Christmas. I know 40-some-odd% of people are never going to take a vaccine, so might as well get yourself a face mask, right? Now's the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click, coming to you from the beautiful Las Vegas Strip by the Mandalay Bay. Hopefully it wasn't too shaky for you. How's the camera work today? My gimbal's battery is dead. Here we go. So 3, 2, 1, and click.